Start lying. Yes, start lying if you want to escape your narcissistic parents. You need to start lying. And yes, it's sneaky. Morally, we've been told it's wrong. But in this particular scenario, lying might actually save you. It saved me, and I want to explain. So if you are living with narcissistic parents and you need to get out of that environment, which you do, it is like a prominent thing you need to do. It should be a priority thing. You need to escape that environment. It is like jail. It is emotionally draining. It will take your soul. It will take your life. It will drain you of everything. And if you haven't come up from a narcissistic parent, or you've lived in a narcissistic household, people won't necessarily understand the actual anguish and the actual pain that this can cause you. It will take everything out from you. It won't allow you to achieve your goals. It won't allow you to go to places that you want to go. You first, number one, like what I did. I had a very narcissistic mother, and what I did to escape, and I am saying escape like it is a jail, because it literally is a mental and emotional jail. And it doesn't always just stay emotional. It will physically show as well. The stress, everything will just deplete in your life. And you will not achieve the things you want to achieve by being in that environment. So the first thing you need to do is escape. And, telling the truth in this scenario is not always the best case. And unfortunately, narcissistic people, and this doesn't need to just be narcissistic parents. If you with a narcissistic spouse, I guess, and or anything like that. I'm not saying to advocate just lying, but in this scenario of narcissistic environments, and that you need to leave that environment, sometimes you have to start lying. Stop telling them so much of the truth. I'll give you an example. In order for me to make my exit plan, it is an absolute plan you need to have. And I'm not even joking here. It is a plan you need to have in place. This is not something which you can just do. Otherwise, you'll be back in that situation once again. And specifically, I'm talking to, thinking I need to leave home, or you're in your 20s or even 30s. It can take up to that long for you to escape from this. And once you've been financially under that person for such a long time, from a child upwards, and you deal with this emotional person, and somehow you've become entwined so much into their life, and actually forgotten about your own life. You become so financially in that circle where if you leave, you're kind of stuck, in my situation, I was the one having to help my mother financially in a way which meant that I really wasn't helping myself in any way at all. I was stuck. I was living with her. And then you got the classic, it's my house, my things, my this, my. But if I leave, do you know what I mean? I couldn't just leave. I wasn't financially in a position to leave. So I was always stuck. I was always stuck in that situation. And there's many times that I tried to leave and I didn't plan it properly. I had to go back again. I had to go back and living with her. I didn't stop until I was in my 30s. I'm 35 now. I was last there at the end of COVID. So what I'm telling you, this cycle is absolutely no joke. And you have to please listen to me. The only way you can get out of this is by start lying about certain things. And I'm talking financial things, okay? So what I did was I really wanted to leave. And there's many things that, obstacles that came in the way that, this person was stopping me from doing, especially in the COVID area. So what I want to say is that I had to lie that I didn't have a little savings. I knew in order for me to escape that environment, it was COVID, everyone lost their jobs, me included. I had to move back in, and it was just a nightmare. And I was thinking, how am I going to get out of this situation? Okay, I'm stuck here. I'm 32 or something. I need to get out of here. I can't do this any longer. I need to live my life. I need to live my life. I don't want to be around this negative energy anymore. I've done this my whole life since childhood, and I need to get out of here. And it's really difficult to get yourself financially out of that situation if you come from very humble beginnings. I don't come from money, at all. So when you don't come from money at all, it's really hard to get yourself out of that situation. And so I had to start lying, because it was, oh, can I borrow this? Can I borrow this? Always like, can I have some money? Can I have some money? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with the rent? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was doing rent, food, everything. And it's just like, wait a minute here, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was just like, how am I going to get out of this? This is literally, I couldn't take it every day. I was waking up and it was just unpredictability. And it was hell. I'm telling you, it was like jail. I looked ill. It wasn't good. I just thought to myself, please, just give me something, please. I need to start lying. I need to stop being so honest with this person, because this person is clearly not a mother in a way. Clearly is not looking out for my best interest. And I quickly figured that out. It took me 30 something years, but I figured out this person is never going to be a mother figure to me. And that's the harsh reality. And with you as well, you need to come to the idea that, unfortunately, if you've got a narcissistic parent, I'm sorry to say this, but they are wrapped up too much in their world to care for you. And I'm really sorry to say that. Because it's painful to say that, because, naturally you should think my parents should be there for me. Why are they against me? Why are they putting obstacles in my path? What is it? This emotion, unfortunately, it's very difficult for a narcissistic person to change. They have to go through a lot of healing process, and that means facing their fear of, their fear is showing their insecurity. And in a healing journey, you have to face your insecurity. You have to face your shadow self. You have to face your ego. And that is what they run away from. They do not want to go back and uncover the trauma they have, because it's a lot of trauma, and they will never do it. And so they will never heal. And unfortunately, most of the time, narcissistic personality disorder is very difficult to change. And so I learnt this. Regardless if this person's your mother, your father, I don't know, your brother, your sister, it doesn't matter. This, unfortunately, is not going to change much, this personality that they have. So you need to understand here, you've got to raise yourself at this point. You've got to be very selfish, and you've got to do very selfish things to save yourself. And if you're living in that environment every day, I know what it's like, and it is absolutely the most draining experience. It's really up there, especially if it's a parent, because you're so entwined with that. It's your parent, and you're emotionally and financially under their thumb. And, you need to number one is get yourself out of the environment. So what you need to do is you need to start lying. Most of the time they'll be asking for rent, they'll be asking for money, they'll be doing something like this to try and have that control over you in that household or something. So what I would start doing is, don't tell them if you've got some savings. That's what I did. I stopped saying that I had anything. I said, no, nothing. And obviously I was living there, I'd had to pay my rent and stuff like that. But I was going so much, giving everything, telling everything, all my financial information to my mother. And it was being used against me, and guilt trip and everything. So I decided, you need to get out of this situation. You need to start lying. Stop telling her everything. So I started lying. During COVID, I started putting some money away to save up for a deposit so I could rent an apartment, which I'm still here now. And I just kept putting stuff away, because I was getting like furlough, which is like the COVID thing where they give you. And I put some away, and I just didn't tell. I just lied. So if she was asking for money, I'd say, I've only got this amount. I wouldn't say that I've got this amount. And she was trying to find out, because they don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to be free from them. Because once you're free, it's over for them. It's done. It's over. The wall will start crumbling down. So they will do everything in their power to make sure that you cannot leave that environment. And whether that is financial control, mental control, guilt tripping, They'll be like nice one day, the next day they'll be like, and then the moment you say, I'm going to leave, you will see a switch in their personality. They will become an angel. No, you should. This is what happened to me. Oh, you don't need. I'm thinking about going. Oh no, don't. I can do everything here for you. Everything's going to be perfect. You can save money. This is how they get you as well. You can save money here. You shouldn't be paying all that money into a new flat apartment. You could just live here with me, and I can. No, they don't care about that. Trust me, they will switch the next day. They do not want you to be free. They do not want you to have independent thought. They do not want you to flourish. And they know the moment that you leave the environment that you will flourish. And because they've chosen you, you've been targeted. You have been targeted out of all your siblings. Maybe you have been the one that's been targeted, because there's something about you. There is something that maybe reminds them of you when they were younger, something that they didn't achieve. There is something about you that you have in you that they want to be associated with, so it makes them look better. There is something about you that is special. And this is what you've got to understand here. There is something about you that they can see in you, that you can be great. And unfortunately, they don't want you to be great. And it's a really hard thing to get your mind around, like, why wouldn't my parents want me to be great? Isn't that naturally something that they would want me to do? But when you have this personality disorder, I truly believe it's the ego takes over. The need for themselves is greater than the need that they should have for you. And all they're thinking about is themselves. How are they going to make themselves look better? How does this look on themselves? It's a very selfish disorder, and it's extremely difficult to change someone's behavioral patterns like this. I tried for over 30 years. I tried maybe for over 20 years to try and instill into this person, my mother, some ways in which she can be more maternal. I'm like, she'll change. She'll get it. She'll figure it out. No, I'm here at 35. No boyfriend. No kids. No style. Very behind in life. And I'm not going to just blame it all on that situation, but I'm saying that once you've grown up in that household, there is a lot of delay in your life. That I wasn't even free until I was like 33. Okay? So there's a lot of catch up, there's a lot of delay in your life. And when you come from an environment where you're not financially, you haven't come from a wealthy family or anything like that, you have to get yourself out of this. And if the longer you stay in that environment, the quicker your soul is going to be destroyed. And I see it like that. Because when I was there, I was so skinny. I was so drained. I was drained of becoming like this therapist. It was too much for me. It was unpredictability. It's not good for you. And I'm telling you, it does you no favors by trying to save the argument of, oh yeah, let's save money. Let's help my parents out here. They do not care. They do not care. They care about having control over you in that household. And this is specifically for narcissistic parents, okay? People that have grown up in narcissistic parents' households. And they give you that roller coaster, like one day you think, oh my God, they're actually being like a mother. No, that's them faking it. The real them is the person that is ego, the selfish. That's the real them. That's the more consistent, that's the more natural part of them. That whole mother thing is an act, okay? It's an act because they've noticed that you're catching on to something in them and they need to pull it back in, and they've noticed this, right? So then they'll put on the act, or, oh yeah, we can do it. So you're like, oh, so they've changed. And and that's how it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, because you have a glimmer of hope, and they know they're very manipulative, so they know to tug onto that. You're their child, so they know they can use that thing against you that they've programmed into you since such a young age. They've chosen you for a reason. And I just think the quicker you can get out of this environment, the better. You're not going to waste your life. Please do not be like me. Please do not be like me and waste your time. I wasted 15 years of my life trying to fix someone that can't be fixed. And it's just caused a delay on my life, and it will cause a delay on your life. You have to remove yourself. And I'm specifically talking like if you're in your early 20s and you're in this environment, please do not waste your 20s like I did. Please don't waste your 20s like going back and forth, leaving and going back. Please try and get yourself out of that situation. And I know it's the hardest thing to do, but I'm telling you, that bit of sacrifice of, if you get a paycheck, do not tell that person, your parents, how much you get paid. Tell them you get paid really little. Do not tell them how much you get paid. Do not tell them what your plans are. Do not tell them. No, do not tell people your plans. When you want to exit the environment, you cannot tell anyone your plans. When I was ready to leave and come into this flat, I did not tell anyone. I was looking around and like, oh, that'd be great one day and secretly I was there, emailing the people here, seeing when it was available. And then I gave the deposit, everything. I didn't say anything. The moment I got the keys and everything, I said, oh, by the way, I'm leaving next week. Like, what can you do? What can they do? It's done. The shock, the look of the face of like, what? There's nothing you can do now. I'm gone. And that was 2.5 years, like two and a half years ago. And I was gone. It's the best feeling to wake up every morning with peace in your life, to wake up with no unpredictability, shouting, screaming, like mental breakdowns, guilt tripping. I've actually been able to do things for myself, buy myself clothes, go and do things like try and do other things that I wanted to do that, I haven't been able to do. And, it's so draining when you're in that environment because I couldn't even do this. I wanted to do this for so long. And, my mother knew I wanted to do this for so long. This podcast, she would purposely come in. I would try and do it when I was living with her. She would purposely come in and just walk past the camera and just ruin the whole vibe, or she'll start banging something on purpose, and you'll get this as well because they can sense that you're onto something that might give yourself some freedom, and freedom to them is fear. They do not want you to have freedom. That is the biggest fear, is that they do not have control of you anymore, because you are their supply. You are their narcissistic supply. You give them all the energy that they need. You give them everything, and they've been sucking that energy from you for so many years. And because you're their child, they know how to manipulate you and to make you feel bad. And you've got to understand, and we've been programmed. That's our parents. We got to listen to them. We got to make sure. But no, in this particular scenario, narcissistic environments, you need to lie. You need to start lying, and you have to be a little sneaky. I'm sorry. You have to. I'm saying this because I know it and I've done it, and I wouldn't say this if it didn't work. It's all good. You can read as many books as you want about narcissistic families, and it does help. I encourage you to do that because then you'll know you're not alone in this. But I've actually done it. I've actually been living in a narcissistic environment for many, many years. And I'm here now, 2.5 years later by myself, and I've managed to escape. And I'm telling you, if I did not lie, I would not be here today. If I did not lie, I would not be here in this environment, peaceful environment, happy as the most peace I've ever had in my life. I had to get really used to the peace. I woke up the first day in this place and was like, what the hell? Why is it so quiet? And I got a bit emotional about, is this how other people have been living? Wow. People have actually been living like this their whole life, waking up in an actual peaceful environment, or just normal parents. I knew something's not right. If you're waking up and it's chaos every day, families are dysfunctional on a normal level, but every day of this complete roller coaster of extremities of emotions and guilt, this is not normal. Slamming, crazy breakdowns, this is not a normal thing, okay? And when the parent is more interested in themselves than you, that's a problem. That's your sign to this is not kind of normal, and you have to disassociate yourself. This is my mother, this is my father. You have to disassociate yourself, and you have to think about yourself. You have to be selfish, and you have to start lying to save yourself in this particular scenario. I'm not saying just lie in life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you want to escape, if you want to exit a narcissistic environment that you're living with your parents, and you feel so stuck and so you can't get out of this. How am I going to get out of this? That was me. I was that girl. How am I going to get out of this? How? I'm stuck here. I've got no money. How am I going to get out of this? I need to get out. I just started saving, putting it away, and just needed enough. Stop. If you don't have enough money, sacrifice them. Stop buying your little coffees. Stop trying to spend too much money on them either. Stop buying anything, clothes, anything. If you need money, just everything, sacrifice it for the next year, I don't know how long you can take it for, but the more things you sacrifice and the more things you can save, don't tell them about how much you actually make. Lie. Tell them you get less, because you need that. You need that security blanket to get out and to be free. You do. And you need to make sure that you have that there so you don't go back in that situation. And you need to rely on yourself for that. That was me. I wasn't, the first time I tried to do it, I wasn't smart enough. I just had enough deposit, and then I realized I had a situation where in my work where I got made redundant and I had to go back again, So you have to make sure that you covered yourself for a couple of months, if anything like that's to happen, just so you never go back in that situation. And I'm telling you, your life will change as soon as you leave that environment. I'm telling you, the first breath that you get in your new apartment or anywhere, even move in, if you're in your early 20s or anything like that, move in. You can house share, you can do anything, on a cheaper. You don't have to live by yourself at first, You just need to remove yourself from that environment. As soon as you remove yourself from that environment, and I personally, depending on the level of severity, I would go no contact as well. Complete no contact. This is what has to happen. It has to be a complete cut, disassociation with that. I wouldn't even advise you to even tell them your address, to be honest. I would not do that. I made the mistake of doing that, and they will come and try and find you. They will. So you've got to be very careful giving people your addresses. Once you've left that situation, post you've left, okay? You've now left the environment. And so I would not give your address to your parents. I would be very cautious of doing that, because they will come and find you. You are their narcissistic supply. And once that is gone, they are going to, sometimes they could get different emotions, angry, sad, but they want their supply back. They've had it for a very long time, and you're not just going to leave like that. No. You're mine. You're my child. You're not going to leave like that. And that's what they're thinking. So be very, very careful giving your address. And to your parents, those narcissistic parents, because they will. And also I would start lying about where you work. Don't just say where you work. You might think this is a bit wild, but they will start maybe popping up at your workplace and things like this. If you've moved away, and when I say move away, I would highly recommend you move a good distance away as well. You need to completely remove yourself from this environment, from the connection, everything. You need to understand that, unfortunately, your narcissistic parent will never be the parent that you desired them to be. And that is a truth that we have to, unfortunately, accept. And it's harsh, it's horrible, But I'm telling you, you've got this. You haven't been chosen this path for no reason. We have to look at why this has happened and, why us? And there's something in you that's very special. There's no reason, there's something in you that has been destined to go on this path. And for me, it's been a complete eye-opener, a struggle in the sense of facing that this is the reality. But also it's been the most, the greatest thing. And the greatest thing is to realize that narcissistic parents cannot change. Trust me, they'll be 70 years old and they'll be still behaving the same. It's very difficult for someone to change their behavioral patterns after a certain age. It takes a lot of willingness. Like with me, it took a lot of, like with you probably as well, to go on your healing journey. It takes a lot of willingness, free time of yourself, a lot of energy and time invested for you to uncover some of your traumas and you behaving certain ways. Like you have to hold yourself back from like, oh no, I can't do this behavior because, this is where I've been programmed to behave like this, and I've got to hold myself back and I've got to change this pattern. But to be aware of that, you have to be very self-aware of that, and you have to be willing to face your flaws and your program. You have to face your program. You have to face that you have been programmed in a certain way to behave these certain patterns. And sometimes when you've lived with a narcissistic parent, they will have had programs that has been stored within you. And so you have to retrain that subconscious mind to not behave in those certain ways, to not choose to hang around with these certain people, to not date these certain people, to not have these same similar patterns, because someone says, oh, you're just like your mother, you're just like, that's the worst words that you want to hear if you're from a narcissistic family. Parent, you don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I'm sure you don't want to hear that ever. And so yeah, we have to be very aware of not going back into those patterns. But narcissistic parents, they don't want to face their own program. They don't want to face their trauma. They do not want to face anything that would make them less of this grand person that, is full of ego and, is great and has everything, got these great plans and they're not going to do that. That's their biggest fear. So, you are their supply as well. And the moment that supply is cut off, it can cause an emotion, which you've got to be very cautious of. And so lie about where you're living, lie about where you're working, lie about how much money you're making. Just, don't overshare with a narcissistic parent. It's a tool, it's information that they will use to manipulate you. And trust me, they're smarter than you think, and they don't have that caring thought as much as you think. And I had to learn that the harsh way, that this parent will never be a parent to me, and I have to raise myself as a woman, and that's what I've got to do, and that's what some of you guys are going to have to do. And we just have to face the reality that we're never going to have normal parents, whatever normal is, but you know what I mean. We're never going to have that loving, positive reinforcement, wanting you to do better, encouraging you, being positive. You're never going to get that from a narcissistic parent. And they might give you a day here or there that you see a glimmer of hope and you think, I can change them. They're getting better. They can do this. No, they can't. You have to think about yourself. You have to think about your life. You have to think about the delay that this can cause in your life. You've got to think about the scenarios. There's probably been many scenarios. Please tell me in the comments below. Has there been scenarios where your narcissistic parent has done something and you've decided, no, I'm not going to go and do that. I'm not going to do that job. I'm not going to hang out with that person today. I'll stay here. There's many different obstacles that they cause that makes you question a lot of things about yourself. Your parents are meant to be there to uplift you, to support you, to encourage you, to give you that maternal guidance a little bit, And if you don't get that, especially from a young age, you're taught that, why should I get it? My mum doesn't even give it to me. My dad doesn't even, why should I get it? So you go through life thinking that you deserve less. And this is what they want. They want you to think you deserve less, but you don't. And once you leave that environment, you will start to see how strong you are, how capable you are. There's something in you that you can do, and they see it. And that supply that they're getting, you can give to yourself. And you can't get to your goals whilst you're living in this environment. You cannot ever feel peace while you're living in this environment. You will never flourish at your job when you're in this environment. You will never pick or choose I'm the right person to be with, the right friendship groups. Sometimes we are just latching on to whoever just to remove ourselves from this, and that is the wrong way to do it. We have to remove ourselves from this environment. That is the foundational level, because these other things are just temporary escapisms that will never fix the root of the problem. If we can fix the root of the problem, especially the girlies in your 20s, the reason why I'm saying it to you, because I just remember, like, I'm 30 something now, I'm just like, I just don't want these girlies in their 20s to like miss that life, like have a delay, you know. I want you to understand that you don't have a normal life like these other girls that are coming from parents that don't have narcissistic parents. You have to think about yourself. So these other girlies that go out there getting the coffee, they're getting this, they're getting that, you need to think, how am I going to get myself out of this situation? A lot of them can live with their parents until they're 25, 30 maybe. You know, it's a nice environment. You don't have that privilege. With narcissistic parents, your first priority is to get the hell up out of that environment. It will suck everything out of you. It will drain your soul, your goals, your ambition, your looks, your everything. Just get out of there. Just exit. I did it. You're not alone here. It's not easy. You got to try and keep your cool as much as possible. You really try not to argue with a narcissistic person, especially when you're living there. Just keep it cool, and in the background, you'll know, I've got this plan. And that's going to keep you. That's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to keep you going to that job. That's what's going to keep you going in the back of your mind. Just keep having that thing in the back of my mind. Okay, I've got extra now. I've got this much now to my deposit. I've got this much now to my deposit. And be careful, because sometimes your siblings, if you've got siblings, sometimes they enable this behavior as well. So sometimes it's not always good to tell your siblings what's going on, unless you guys have got like a plan to do it together and you're in the same situation. But you know, I often find that there's one person that's been targeted more than others, and you've just got to be very careful, because your siblings might be the ones that tell on your plans, you know, without them, oh, did you know that thingy is, because some of your siblings may have left and you're left alone. That was happened to me. And you know, you might say, oh, I've got this plan. And then they might say, oh, look, isn't that so good that this person's doing so well? They've got a plan. So you've got to lie, even to your siblings. Just lie until you exit that situation and you're in a space by yourself. I wouldn't normally say just lie. Like in a moral world, like a normal way, is not a thing that I'm saying encouraging in a daily habit. I'm just talking about exiting this particular environment. You have to lie to save yourself in this situation. Please just comment below. I just gave you a snippet here. We could talk about this much longer. I could talk about the no contact that I am with my parents, and if you want me to talk about no contact with narcissistic and how narcissistic parents and how I've done it for 2.5 years now, I will talk about that in a longer video. But I just felt that I needed to say, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching this who's got narcissistic parents, please, this is your sign just to stop telling everything, stop oversharing. You need to lie about certain things in order to escape from that environment. And I'm not just saying just lie to your nice parents, by the way. I'm specifically talking about narcissistic parents, and you know, you can just Google it, have a little look about some of the signs of narcissistic parents, and I can probably do a video on it as well. But you will know if you've got a narcissistic parent. You will just know. We know. And we know. So please let me know. If you've got a plan in place, let me know. How's it going? Please comment below, because it's really like helpful that other people that are in this situation can actually see and hear other people's stories and journeys, specifically narcissistic children. Children of narcissistic parents, because it is a very lonely journey, and I felt alone, and I didn't know there was anyone else feeling like this. And so, please comment below, because it really does give you that kind of like support, that you need to know that there's other people going through this. I'm not crazy, I'm not losing my mind here, and you're not, by the way. It's a real thing, and it's very, very difficult thing to go through, but you've got this, okay? And you will escape this environment, and the quicker you can do it, the better your life is going to be. Please do not delay your life. That's the best thing I can say to you guys. I got out of it, I'm here, and you can too, okay? Please comment below. You're never alone here. This is why I do these videos, because I felt alone, and I don't want you guys to feel alone. I've been through that experience, and so I want to share it. So please, let's comment. Let's have our little Nana journey community here. We've got each other, and we're never alone in these journeys, these stories. This is what it's about, okay? Thank you guys, and just keep being positive. I know it can be tough sometimes, but just keep the faith alive, and just have that plan. Okay, this is the Nana journey. Thanks, guys.